Welcome to the Cryptosphere. This is Cryptogenic coming at you. Today is Monday, March 28th at 4:30 p.m. here in Northern California. And the crypto market is heating up. What we're starting to see is altcoins just explode like geysers. So we're going to take a look at the market today to see where the market is going, to kind of get a feel for what the possibilities are, starting with Bitcoin and then taking a look at the altcoin market to see how the market should respond to what Bitcoin is doing. First, we turn to the daily Bitcoin chart, and we take a look at the daily Bitcoin chart. It's clear that we've broken above this narrowing wedge, broken strongly above it, and broke above this level of resistance here in the price that goes all the way back. We capitulated beneath it on January 5th. So we have been beneath this line in the price since January 5th, and now we've broken above it, this critical level of 54,000. That brings 52,000 into play, a level that we broke beneath. Well, really, we've been under that since December 4th. So we have been under 52,000 since December 4th, and now that critical level is coming back into view. So what I see is Bitcoin, we see we're making higher highs here in the RSI, broken out strongly here. I think we're going to retest $52,000. The question is, will we break above $52,000 or will we get rejected there? If we break above 52,000, the next stop is 62,000. And if we break above 62,000, there's a level above that that will retest before we go on to really see the next wave up for Bitcoin. So it's a big if as to whether or not we're going to break above those levels. Now, if we take a look at the weekly chart, we see this kind of from a macro perspective, breaking above this level here at 45,000, now coming to test this level here at 52,000. What we see is the RSI has broken above two levels of resistance, and really, it's just barely above that second level of resistance. If we zoom in here, we see that we've peaked our head above it. But the next stop is this major level of resistance, and we've been under this. I mean, well, really, this trend goes all the way back to January of 2021. We hit the top, and we started making lower highs in the RSI. The question is, are we going to break above that level? I mean, if you think about it, this bearish divergence, I mean, it started here in January 2021, and then the breakdown in the market happened over here in April of 2021, and it's been all downhill in the RSI. We've been beneath this line ever since. Are we going to break above this major line of resistance? If we break above this major line of resistance in the RSI, that is going to be strongly bullish for Bitcoin, and what that probably means is that we're going to break above 52,000. And then the next level of resistance here on the weekly chart is going to be $72,978, basically $73,000. So really the telltale sign is going to be the RSI here. Will the RSI get rejected here, or will the RSI break through? What's interesting to me is the MACDs are only just now turning bullish. And typically when the MACDs turn bullish, I mean, if you look at this, MACDs turn bullish, we tend to be bullish for a while. There tends to be a move up. I mean, the MACDs turned bullish here, and we were bullish for quite some time, from August all the way till November of 2021. If we look at the corresponding time in the chart, when the MACDs broke bullish, we were still bullish for a while above here. So it could be that if the MACDs are just now turning bullish, it could be a good sign that we are going to break above this line, and that we are going to break above this line, and that we're going to do somewhat of a W here. I mean, well, not somewhat. This is an actual W, basically a triple tap. Now, what happens is if we triple tap this line here, the odds are we're going to break through it. And if we break through it, you know, this is strongly bullish for Bitcoin in the future. So we're going to watch this to see, are we going to break through these levels, or are we going to get rejected? So when I look at this chart, when I look at this weekly chart, I'm like, there's a good possibility that we're going to break through these levels. We're going to come back to retest 72,000, and we're going to break out, and we're going to keep moving. However, when I take a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, first I'm going to look at the weekly Bitcoin dominance chart. I'm seeing kind of an alternative perspective here. And what I'm seeing is that on the dominance chart, we're printing a huge bear flag, right? We've got bearish divergence, not bearish divergence, hidden bearish divergence, right? Hidden bearish divergence on this chart. And this is predicting what I thought we were going to do is come back and test this line before breaking down bearish and coming down to revisit somewhere between 32 and 35% on the dominance chart. But if we look at the daily, what we see is the RSI topped out on January 27th and has been moving downward ever since. And so this is that classic bearish divergence where the price, the RSI tops out and then every high afterwards is lower. But the price hasn't topped out yet. We still make some higher highs in the price. But we get to this level here on March 2nd, and now the bearish divergence is playing out, and we're seeing a decrease of Bitcoin dominance on this daily chart. And so what this tells me is that the breakdown has already happened. We got to the top of it on March 2nd, and it was breaking down. We just haven't seen it reflected in the weekly chart yet, which suggests to me that we're getting ready to see a major week breakdown on the weekly chart. So if this is correct, if this scenario plays out and Bitcoin dominance breaks down into this region here, what that's going to look like for Bitcoin is it probably looks like a rejection at $52,000 and at least consolidating in this region for a while, if not coming all the way back down to retest this line of resistance. And what that also looks like on the daily chart is coming back down to retest this line, which would honestly be a bit devastating. Or we could have support here at 45,000 and just kind of consolidate for a while between 52 and 45,000 before we break out again. That's also a good possibility. Now, what does that mean for the altcoin market? Well, it means a couple of things for the altcoin market. First of all, looking at this altcoin market cap chart, we see that we're strongly bullish. The MACDs are trying to turn bullish. And once again, when the MACDs turn bullish, they tend to be bullish for a while, and it tends to mean we're going to see some upward momentum for a while. What we can see is that the RSI bounced and broke bullish above this trend. We had been under this line since November 8th of 2021. Remember, this is a weekly chart, so each of these candles is a full 7 days. And then we broke last week. We broke bullish above this trend that we had been under since November of 2021. We broke above this trend for the first time since November of 2021, and we broke above this line of resistance here. Now we're testing the whole suite indicator and coming up to 1.26 trillion, retesting that. If we can break above that line, the next level of resistance is $1.709 trillion, which is strongly bullish for the altcoin market. Now, here's the key. I think there's two possibilities, and I'm just going to try to lay these out quickly as I can. First possibility, if Bitcoin breaks down, the alt market is going to pull back temporarily with Bitcoin and then take off. And so what we see here is that if Bitcoin dominance is actually breaking down to here, then what this is here is an alt season. This area here is alt season. In this area here, Bitcoin is moving down and the altcoins are moving up. Strongly bullish for the altcoins. However, what that means is that the altcoin season is going to be awesome, but it's going to be a quick pop, like 4 to 6 weeks, and then the altcoins are going to top out and start pulling back as well. The other scenario, which I think would be more beneficial, is that Bitcoin comes up here and breaks this line and takes off. Now, what would that look like? Well, that would look something like this. If we can grab a fractal. Oops, sorry. What if Bitcoin did something like this? Let's say it repeated this whole fractal here. And let's say that was the bottom. What this would look like is Bitcoin topping out, maybe not all the way at the top, but at least, portions of this. I mean, we could set some levels here and say this would be the top of it, and this would be another level, and this would be another level. So if Bitcoin breaks above here and goes for another move like this or another wave, maybe it looks more like this, right? What that looks like is Bitcoin topping out around April 2023. So in other words, this is more of a slow grind up rather than a huge pop all at once. This is more of a slow grind up, which means that the altcoin market, where's my altcoin chart? The altcoin market will do something similar. Instead of a quick 4 to 6 week pop, we'll see the altcoin market do something like this before it pulls back. And that will look something like this, right? Which means that the altcoin market would top out somewhere. And I know every time I do this and I show these potential levels, people freak out like all the money in the world is going into the crypto market if this happens. I assure you it's not true. The stock market is like $90 trillion. When I talk about a $16 trillion crypto market, people just freak out like that's impossible. All the money in the world will be gone. Unbelievable, actually, in my opinion. So, this means that the altcoin market tops out somewhere around April of 2023, like Bitcoin, and it gets maybe a couple of weeks past Bitcoin's top in this scenario. So the question is, which is the better scenario? Well, I think scenario 2 is the better scenario. Scenario 2 is the better scenario because instead of a 4 to 6 week pop, we get a 1 year grind. And a 4 to 6 week pop, might take some of our top assets and give them a few 100%. Some of them may get 1,000%. But a 1 year grind in which the altcoin market makes another move like that, you're going to see a bunch of assets that get 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 10,000% even, some of the best assets. And so I'm hoping for scenario 2. I'm hoping it takes longer. The longer it takes, it's one of my favorite sayings is that the longer it takes, the wealthier you'll be. But at the same time, my strategy is simply to watch the charts. And specifically what I'm watching is the RSI. Honestly, I have no idea what it's going to do. But the one thing I know is that whenever it tops out, the RSI is going to tell us in advance it's about to top out. And that's why I look at the weekly chart, and my bread and butter is convergence and divergence between the price and the RSI on the weekly chart. And I go back to this again and again and again, because here's what we saw. The RSI on the Bitcoin chart topped out on January 4th, 2021. But the price didn't top out till April 5th, 2021, which means that between January 4th and April 5th, the price was making higher highs, the RSI was making lower highs. That's called bullish divergence. Here's my strategy. Really, all I'm going to do is wait till stuff starts moving again. And everything else I said is theoretical. It's conjecture. But this is hard evidence. So, like we were looking at I've been looking at the EOS chart, and it's awesome. And look at this. EOS, look at the volume that's hit EOS in the last few days. And that's awesome, and that's great, right? But when I look at the weekly chart for EOS, when EOS gets up here and tops out, however high it is, and starts making lower highs, that's when I know we've got about 3 to 4 weeks left before this market has hit its top and it's going to start to decline. And the beautiful thing is that the RSI gives us plenty of time to get ready, to change our plans, to fix our exit strategy, to determine what our new targets are. And so, I have preliminary targets, but all of my targets are preliminary based upon what the RSI does. And if the RSI tops out, let's say the RSI hasn't topped out yet, and maybe the RSI just tops out, and we just made our last higher high, but it's still at 182,000. I'm going to say we probably have more to go up because I'm not seeing the bearish divergence in the RSI yet. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. That's my strategy. I'm sticking to it. But I must reiterate that this is not financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. I'm simply telling you what I see and what I think, and you can take that or you can leave that. your choice. Hope it becomes a data point for you that simply helps you to sleep in peace at night, wake in joy in the morning, walk in love every day. And everything that I do has that as the goal. Do want to encourage you to like this video if you liked the content, subscribe to the channel. Also, if you're still watching, that means that you do find value in the things that I talk about on this channel, and I appreciate that very much. Exciting change is coming to the Cryptogenic Patreon community starting on April 1st. If you have not joined, I encourage you to wait till April 1st. If you join today, they're going to charge you today, and then they're going to charge you again on April 1st, and you're going to be mad as a mofo. However, on April 1st, at the gold level, which is $49 a month, I'm adding a weekly Zoom session, a weekly group Zoom session, in which I'm going to be taking questions and answers. I'm going to be doing TA. Also, we're position trading together. And so I'm going to be going over our trading positions, new positions, trade orders, levels, and all of that in that meeting, as well as fielding any questions and doing as much technical analysis as we possibly can at that time. And I'll be doing that every Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's going to be live streamed onto the Patreon wall for gold members and above. And so I think it's an incredible value. It's an incredible value that should give you the necessary information to increase your profitability, to make it more likely that you will succeed in this market in a much shorter amount of time. I mean, I spent the last few years making a lot of mistakes, and I went through a period of desperation of trying to learn and grow as much as I possibly could. And I simply want to make it easier for you to sleep in peace at night, wake in joy in the morning, and walk in love every day. So check that out. Thank you all for watching. Godspeed. This is Cryptogenic signing out.